Tony Snow had it all. A wife that he loved, 3 children that he adored. A talented writer, he parlayed that skill to becoming chief speechwriter for President of the United States. He was a nationally syndicated columnist working for the Detroit News, guest on many radio and TV shows, guest columnist for USA Today, the first host of Fox News Sunday, and, to top it off, White House press secretary. Yes, Tony Snow had it all. But Tony Snow also had colon cancer. He was diagnosed in February 2005. He underwent surgery where they removed his colon, underwent 6 months of chemotherapy and radiation. Unfortunately, it did not eradicate the cancer. The cancer returned, it infected his abdomen and his liver, and Tony Snow passed away on July 12th, 2008, 3.5 years after diagnosis. 1 week from today, that would be 9 years ago. Tony Snow has become my benchmark. Not only were he and I the same age, but last December 20th, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Now, there are some major differences between Tony Snow's situation and mine. First of all, Tony Snow's mother passed away from colon cancer at age 38 when he was just 17. So, as someone who has someone in their family that has colon cancer, they're already at higher risk. So he had that going against him. He also suffered from ulcerative colitis. That also increases the risk. Now, there's nobody in my family that has colon cancer that I know of. My mother was a 3-time cancer victim, but nobody had colon cancer, and I don't have ulcerative colitis or any other digestive maladies, so I don't have any of those kinds of problems. And the main difference probably between my situation and Tony Snow's is the stage of the disease when it was caught. Mine is either stage 0 or stage 1. From everything I've read, Tony Snow's had to be at least stage 3 and probably stage 4. So I guess what I would say is, Craig, don't start counting your inheritance yet. As they say in the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I'm not dead yet. It all started last November when I went for my annual physical. My doctor looked at my records and realized, Dr. Greg Baker, my primary care doctor, realized I had not had a colonoscopy in 10 years. So I did my first one when I was 51, and everything was fine. There were no polyps, there were no hint of anything. Everything was just fine, no big deal. So I asked Dr. Baker, I said, hey, it's getting close to tax season. Can I wait until after tax season to get the colonoscopy? Well, either he ignored me or just chose not to listen. I'm not sure what it was. But he basically had his office staff contact Dr. McMahon over at Scopes on Mattis Road to get the ball rolling. Well, it's close to Thanksgiving, and with all the things going on, it was not until December 19th I finally got the appointment set up for the colonoscopy. Now, the preparation is not nearly as bad as people make it out to be. When I went 10 years ago, you had to go get the stuff at the drugstore, the prescription laxative and all this kind of stuff. Nowadays, it's like you go to the grocery store, you buy Dulcolax and Miralax and Gatorade, and you do your thing, and it's not really pleasant, but it's not horrible either. It's not a big deal. And the procedure itself is a nothing, because they put you out. You go to sleep almost immediately, and when I woke up, I was groggy, didn't quite know what was going on. Luckily, I had Bev there to kind of interpret what was happening, and the doctor came in, and he said, we found a growth right at the place where the large intestine comes into the small intestine. I've taken a biopsy of it and sent it to the lab, and you'll hear it towards the end of the week, if it's cancerous or not. And I didn't pay he never said the word cancer, and I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it because I was kind of groggy. Now, but Bev, she picked up immediately that something was very, very wrong. I asked the doctor, I said, well, tax season's coming, can I wait till after tax season to have it taken out? He looked at me very sternly and says, no, this has to come out now. Well, it's like December 19th, and we actually get the call the next day from the lab. They didn't wait till the end of the week. We heard the next day that it was cancerous. Cancer. Cancer. How could I have cancer? I've been healthy. I had no symptoms whatsoever, no pain, nothing. No pain. Well, Dr. Tim Sullivan told us several weeks ago in a speech that pain has absolutely nothing to do with your health. And that's absolutely true, because I had no pain. And healthy? I've been healthy I haven't missed a day of work for sickness since probably 1992. How could this be? I just couldn't assimilate it. And probably to this day I still can. Maybe I'm in denial. I don't know. but it just never did sink into me. I always wondered how I would react to that kind of a diagnosis, and I just didn't. Well, whatever, let's go get this done. Well, we're close to Christmas, and Dr. Baker recommended that the surgery be done by Dr. Lawrence Mendelow at Missouri Baptist. Well, we have two problems. We have Christmas coming up, and we also, on January 1st, we're going to lose our United Healthcare insurance and go on to Anthem. Missouri Baptist is not part of the Anthem network. So, luckily, Dr. Baker gets along very well with Dr. Mendelow and called in a favor, and Dr. Mendelow agreed to get the surgery done on December 29th. We first met Dr. Mendelow at his office the last day before they were going home for Christmas. Dr. Mendelow and his assistant were the last two people in the office that day. And they were very nice, they were very pleasant and very reassuring. So it made me feel very confident as we went into the procedure. On Thursday, December 29th, they did the surgery. They took out 8 to 10 inches of my colon, my appendix, and 16 lymph nodes. Now, when I came out of surgery, I was loopy, of course, from the anesthesia. Craig and Bev can both attest to that. I was like seeing weird things. But other than that, I really wasn't in a lot of pain. And I really wasn't all that bad. And the labs came back and they saw that the cancer had not spread, it had not gone to the intestinal wall, it didn't spread any lymph nodes. So they basically just said that I needed to get a colonoscopy, this fall, and a CT scan just to kind of see where things are at. I was released from the hospital on the morning of New Year's Eve, December 31st, and after a little bit of rest, I was able to go to our little get-together that night for New Year's Eve, and I even ate a little bit of mustacholi from Biscotti's that night, although Bev was very angry at me for doing that, but I did it just the same. And back at the office a couple of days later on that Monday, New Year's Day holiday, went in for a couple of hours. Bev drove me over to kind of catch up on a couple of things, and went back to work that week, and basically kind of lived back to the normal schedule. Very little pain, a couple of days worth of over-the-counter medicine, painkillers, nothing serious. Didn't affect me that much during tax season. Worked the same ungodly hours almost as I normally do, so no big difference there. And I feel great now. I feel great. But am I cured? Am I cured? I don't know. And I won't know until I go get the colonoscopy this fall and the CT scan, and I may not know this year. I may not even know next year. I don't know how many years I'm going to have to do this. So this may be something I have to deal with forever and ever. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did it early. Not counting skin cancer, colon cancer is the third leading cause of cancer in men and women, with 150,000 new cases and 56,000 deaths each year. Contrary to popular opinion, more women die of colon cancer than men. Now the good news is I probably am cancer-free, but at least the 5-year survival rate for people with stage 1 colon cancer is 92%, so that's pretty darn good. So if found early, colon cancer is the most treatable of all cancers, and it can actually be prevented. Yes, that's right, it can be prevented. If you have no known risk factors, you need to get your colonoscopy at age 50. If you do have somebody in your family, you need to get your first colonoscopy at the earlier of age 40 or 10 years younger than the age at which your family member was diagnosed. So in Tony Snow's case, his mother passed away at age 38. He should have had his first colonoscopy at age 28. Nothing in the literature indicated that he had done that. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, please, 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 if you are past due on your colonoscopy, get it. Get it right away. If it hasn't yet come time for you to have one, make sure when that time comes that you get it promptly. Don't put this thing off. It could save your life. Convincing people to get a colonoscopy is my new crusade. Madam Toastmaster.